Good morning, fifth grade. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, and we are going to be doing math class. To be prepared to watch this video, you will need a writing utensil, scratch paper, and today's math packet opened up. I will show you how to find it. If you are in fifth grade distance learning and you click on week 13, you'll then click on math class and you'll click on Tuesday's lesson. When you have all of your materials ready, come back to the video. Today you're going to start by doing your problem-solving task. Select all of the expressions that are equivalent to what you were given. Come back to the video when you are ready to discuss. For your problem-solving task, you were given the expression x plus x plus x plus x plus x, and you needed to select all of the equivalent expressions. This relates to what we did yesterday because we have a variable being repeatedly added. So we know that we can use a coefficient in front of a variable to represent multiplication. Our first step should be to count up the amount of x's that are being added together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is being repeatedly added 5 times. So I could rewrite this using the coefficient 5 connected to the variable x. 5x is the same thing as x plus x plus x plus x plus x because x is being repeatedly added 5 times. So the first equivalent expression that we can select is b because it's written as 5x. Now we need to look at the other answer choices to see if they can also be equivalent to 5x. For answer choice A, it says 3x plus 2x. So this is where we're going to learn something new. In math, you can combine like terms. When you combine like terms, it means that you are either adding or subtracting terms that have the same variable. So 3x and 2x share the same variable, x. So that's why we can combine them. If terms do not have the same variable, they cannot be combined. So 3x plus 2x works the same way as addition works. We would add 3 plus 2 and connect x to it. 3x plus 2x is the same thing as 5x. And I can write that out in expanded form to show you exactly why. Because it's just like doing It's the same thing as seeing this in expanded form, which would be parentheses x plus x, close parentheses, plus parentheses x plus x, close parentheses. So if we were to combine all of these terms, we would get 5x. So adding your terms that have the same variable, it works in a similar fashion as when we're adding numbers. So 3x plus 2x is also a correct answer because it equals 5x. The same thing goes for answer choice D. It's like writing parentheses x plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x minus parentheses x plus x. If you have 7 x's and you take away 2 of them, you end up with 5x. And so when it's simplified, it equals the same thing as the expression that we were given. So in answer choices A and D, we combined like terms, which basically means that we solved an expression with terms that shared the same variables. And we ended up with the same answer of 5x. So both A, B, and D are correct. Answer choice C says x to the 5th power. We know that when we see something written in exponential form, it means that the base is being repeatedly multiplied by itself depending on the exponent. So here, x is being repeatedly multiplied by itself 5 times. This is equivalent to x times x times x times x times x. Repeated multiplication is not the same thing as repeated addition, and therefore exponential form is not the same thing as having a coefficient. So answer choice C is not correct. Answer choice E shows that we have x being multiplied by 4x. Because when we have two terms that are connected with touching parentheses, that shows that we're doing multiplication. So again, you would not combine those terms the same way. X times 4x does not equal 5x. That is not the way you would multiply. Instead, this would equal 4x squared. Because you have 4x being multiplied by x. So you would have 4x squared, and that is very different than 5x. So that just shows you not to fall for a trick that could be used to confuse you. If you have parentheses that are touching, it shows multiplication. And when you are multiplying variables times each other, it is not the same thing as adding them together. So x times 4x would not give you 5x. It would actually give you 4x squared. Answer choice E is also incorrect. So we're going to look at our notes today based on what we learned. So today we learned what combining like terms is. Combining like terms is combining terms that share the same variable that are being added or subtracted. You work until it's fully simplified. And then I gave you 3 examples of what that means. Remember that you can only combine variables that are the same. So they would need to be exactly the same to be combined. Once you're done taking your notes, come back to the video for practice problems. Now you're going to get started on your guided practice and come back to the video to check your work. Okay, so for number 1, we have 5x plus x plus x. First, I'm going to look at all my variables to make sure that they are the same. And they're all x, so I can combine these terms. 5x plus, we know that there's no coefficient here, but if it's a variable by itself, there's an imaginary 1. So it's 5x plus 1x plus 1x. That's the same thing as 7x. For number 2, 9x minus 3x. Our variables are the same, so we can do the subtraction. 9 minus 3 is 6. 9x minus 3x is 6x. If you write this out in expanded form, you'll start writing 9 x's, take away 3 of them, and you'll see that you are left with 6 x's. For number 3, you have to notice that this is different. This is multiplication. Okay, so multiplying variables, and here we're multiplying x repeatedly by itself, so that should automatically tell you that x is being multiplied by itself 4 times. So x would be our base because it's being repeatedly multiplied by itself. We count up the number of times it's being multiplied by itself, and that would be our exponent. So the answer here would be x to the 4th power. Now try the practice problems and come back when you're ready to discuss. For the first 4 problems, you're going to pause the video and check your work against mine, making sure that you have the correct answers written as following using expanded notation. So go ahead and check your work for numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the next section, you had to simplify the expression, so you needed to combine like terms. For number 1, it said 8x plus 3x plus 2x. All of those terms share the same variable, so they can be combined. 8x plus 3x gets you 11x. And then 11x plus 2x will get you 13x. So the final answer is 13x. Number 2, 3g plus 8g. The variables are the same, so we can combine. 3 plus 8 will get you 11. So 3g plus 8g equals 11g. Number 3, 17y minus 2y minus y. So first we'll do 17y minus 2y. That gets us 15y. Then we'll subtract the last y, because remember, when it's a variable standing by itself, the coefficient is always 1. So in front of this y, you should imagine that there is a 1. So 15y minus 1y equals 14y. Last, 14x minus 2x equals 12x. For the table, we are going to go over the first example and the last example, and you'll check your work for the two in the middle. The first example says 10x plus x. Remember that when you see a variable by itself, the coefficient is 1. So this is like saying 10x plus 1x. First, they ask us for the number of terms. There are 2 terms that are separated by that addition sign. 10x is one term and x is the second term. So there are 2. The coefficient on the second term is 1, because remember, when there's a variable by itself, the coefficient is always going to be 1. And last, simplified 10x plus 1x will get you 11x. The secret code for today's math exit ticket is STRENGTH, 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 STRENGTH. And last, we'll go over this final example, 7x plus 0x plus 3x plus x plus x. Okay, so this is something new that you're seeing where you see a value of 0x. Please know that this is another example of something that is there to confuse you or trick you. Anything times 0 is just 0. So we know that when we have a coefficient in front of a variable, they're being multiplied because they were doing repeated addition. So 0 times x would just be a 0. So yes, the coefficient there is still, you would say it is 0, but there's no value to that term. You would not be adding or subtracting anything if you see a 0y, 0x. It has no value. So the number of terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 terms being separated by addition signs. The coefficient on this second term is 0. The coefficient is 0. The term has no value, but the coefficient is still 0. And if you simplify this expression, 7x plus 0x still leaves you with 7x, plus 3x gets you 10x. And these last variables with no coefficient, you know that there is an imaginary 1 there. 10x plus 1x is 11x, plus another 1x equals 12x. Go ahead and get started on your exit ticket after you check your work for the final 2 problems. And if you need a check-in, make sure to reach out to your teacher.